Afternoon, guys. 3:53 in the afternoon on a Tuesday, the 23rd of April, 2024, the Weaver Agency of Roseman, California. Yeah, a week more before I see the doctor. But then again, there'll be some legitimate things for them to talk about, and I'm not looking forward to that one. I'm switching off the medical right now into the world of Trump. Oh, God. Yeah, well, I'm not a big Trump supporter. I never did like a mouth who was going off the deep end and forcing people. He says, I'm not forcing people. But I think the public should do this in the name of me. So while he's having his trial in New York right now, and he's going through the hush money thing, he's got no supporters. He's got no supporters. They're talking about it a great deal on the media. They're talking about it on the independents. But I'm looking at it at one particular aspect of it. His family abandoned him, or else he abandoned his family. It's a hard thing to deal with something of a matter that will be affecting him a great deal, and not to have support. It's no wonder he's trying to hide from it or trying to show other things that he wants to be in control of, such as his reactions and actions, antics, in order to get more sympathy. Sometimes he earns pity, and other times he's earning disgust and scorn. He's disrespecting the court system, maneuvering it like crazy, playing it like a fiddle, he thinks. We're all waiting for a judge to drop an anvil on him, throw him in jail temporarily, even for a weekend or two. But that's a problem right there, isn't it? We are having issues. Looking at his response, actually at the people's response concerning about Trump. Where are the supporters? Reporters are asking. Where are they? A few at a time. They can go through the streets and try to see if there's any mobs out there, but there isn't. Just a few curious people. For a man who's been seeking ego, for a man who's been seeking attention to himself, this must be very jarring that people that he wants over there aren't there. So naturally, we got the detractors going, ha 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 ha, and let's make fun of the guy. It ticks me off because he's not getting the help or support necessary to keep him going through this. I'm not just talking about his fans that he depends upon mostly. I'm talking about his family. I hear the arguments on independent on the YouTubes out there. And they'll try to go to different channels left and right to defend him, but where are they in the court? Where are they, or at least one or two of them with them? Do they have this kind of condition going on? Do they have an agreement with each other of saying that if I'm going to go to court, you guys can't be with me? Any other circumstances, if anybody else was going to court, they'd have at least one or two supporters with them for moral support. Nobody, except the lawyers. Lawyers he thinks he pays for, but sometimes he doesn't. So what do we end up is I'm looking at a sad man. Now, keep this in mind. I didn't like his antics, still don't. I still think he's manipulating people left and right. But somehow I got to have a bit of empathy for the guy. Touch of sympathy, a touch of pity for this schmuck. Because what I'm seeing right now is he hasn't got the support necessary to keep morally going or emotionally going. When you con and BS everybody, when you manipulate them and lie to them all the damn time, it's hard to keep that up. How many times have I come across people in my own lifetime to do the same thing to others? That it gets sick and tired, sick and tired, sick and tired. Okay, that's it. We gotta drop kick them. We can't deal with them anymore. I've seen that happen in the recovery halls, where people who use everybody else and they try to get support, they can no longer do that because they are blackballed. It's happened over here too. There was one or two people out there that me and my brother had to blackball. And then a few years later, I'm seeing them in worse conditions than ever. If they hadn't changed their ways, they're still playing the same game. They're still playing the same game. So how are you supposed to be able to deal with this? I don't know. Trump right now is trying to show that he's in control, and his lawyers are losing credibility in court. Trump's already losing credibility left and right. On his breaks, from his court appearances, from the different things, he would go out and make a statement or two, make a personal attack one way or another, just to show that he is, you know, he's in control of everything. Apparently he's not. And right now, it's a bloodbath. It's a smorgasbord for the reporters out there. For the ones who are really going after Trump. For the publishers and for the editors, for the news corps are going after ratings. It's a bloodbath. But I'm looking at a guy who thought he'd been in control all of his life of everything, but didn't care about the things he touched that were turning into ashes and dust. He didn't get it. He really didn't get it, did he? And they're jumping on him like crazy on this one. Now, it sounds like I'm like a Trump supporter at this point over here because he's being persecuted and prosecuted. What did I say in my other videos concerning about boomerangs? You toss those damn things out, they come right back and smack you upside the head. Whether it be physical actions, whether it be verbal, or even spiritual, whatever you're tossing out is going to come right back and hit you upside the head. Trump's mouth and his actions have proven time and time again that he's a liar, cheat, thief, and a con artist. He's pilfered, pillaged, and plundered. And he didn't care. So looking at him in the courtroom, looking at the pictures that before they took, before the trial, and just saying like, I'm so lovely, look at me. Well, he should. The court has a way of making a person humiliated and humbled at the same time. Bow to submission to the ruling of a judge or a jury. You just can't keep the defiance saying, I'm going to beat this system. I'm going to beat this system. The court system is a crucible. They will get to the truth. And if you're still spouting off all the insanity that you got there, they're going to call you on it. And they're going to judge you on it. But what I'm saying is, you're going in there without any moral support, and you're really in for it. Like every prisoner I've seen, when the court pictures show these guys going through pretrial or going through trials, or even through the sentencing, some of these guys actually have people care and sit in the galleries. Others are just there because they got no one else to be with them. And that's hard. That's hard. If I didn't know about my brother's situation at one time, I would have been able to get over to a courthouse with me and my mother to see what was going on. A situation happened with my brother when we were taking care of Ma at an apartment complex. And our apartment complex outside didn't have good communications. It was lousy cellular and Wi-Fi. My brother was trying to get some medications refilled, but he was also walking his dog. Unfortunately, he was getting a little irritated because of the calls, but also because Buddy was peeing on my brother's foot. My brother said a few things at the dog, but the caller took it as a threat to them. Tried to call back and apologize, but he couldn't. So the next day he's going over there. And the thing I hear from the phone is my brother's getting arrested by the sheriff's department. He was over at the county facility trying to get pharmacy, and he couldn't get pharmacy, but he got bracelets instead. And he got arrested and thrown in the system. And I had to get some friends to help me get the car back home. It was terrifying driving a car a few miles from a place that gets arrested. We weren't about to get the car impounded. We needed that car, so drove it home. I hated it. But I didn't understand what the hell was going on. And I was asking people, and I was hearing some of it. Not much. So I waited until David had a hearing. And my mother and I went over to the courthouse. And we were in the visitors gallery, and we saw Dave. Dave saw us. But they also saw me pushing Ma with a wheelchair, and she had to go that way. So here we are. He had community service. He had to pay fines. Stay out of trouble for about a year. But sitting in that courtroom, listening to everything else, and then hearing about my brother. The day after that, we had that hearing because of David's medical condition at the time. He was still going through diabetes. And they put him in a medical ward until they got him stabilized enough where he could be released. And they would release him over at the Union Station. As soon as I got the call from David, I packed things up for him. Talked to Ma about it. I'd get my brother. Get on a bus, get my ass on a train, and then go get my brother. And I did. I brought him home. And he was telling me everything else was going on. But it was humiliating going through that process. I know what it's like going through a court myself. It's not fun. You have to be polite. You have to be humble and humiliated. You can't piss off the court. Of course, you can't say any rotten things about the judge either or about anybody else. You keep your thoughts to yourselves about that one. But this is what happened. So, that's what happened. I'm seeing Trump going through this shit. He lives so much on ego, though. Everybody's got to love him because he's Donald Trump, because he's got the name, and everyone else should worship the name. Everyone should worship him because he's Donald Trump. He thinks he's the most special guy around here. And when they show that he's such a grifter and everyone else is following the same suit, people slowly are understanding that this guy has grifted people. That he's lied, cheated, and theft on people. Casinos and hotels bankrupt because of his name. Products sold were cheap ass products. And he has a habit of not paying people. Cheapskate. Keep all the money for himself. Because he's Donald Trump. His kids fall in the same way. They think the Trump name is special. And they're coming to terms with this one. Is that they're wheeling and dealing and they're conning people left and right. It's coming to a full term. Full circle on this one. So it's scary having this kind of situation happening. But they live by the ego. And they're going to die by the ego one way or another. Trump is going to be facing the court system again and again and again. And he's got to deal with it. He's got to deal with the states. Federal, I don't know about, but the states are going to be making his life a living hell. Trying to take apart his empire one way or another. I'm surprised a lot of people didn't do a class action lawsuit on him. Trying to suck him dry. So now we got this court case concerning about the hush money situation. It's not just about someone he had an encounter with. No, it's the process and procedures and how they affected his candidacy. People say it's wrong. It's a lie, but this is what the court system show is. They're going to show the truth. They're going to show what's being presented to the court. So, healthiest individual ever elected. Huh. Yeah, right. Man's overweight, he's got grease in his system, and he's the healthiest. I could feel sorry for this guy, or else I could tell myself, I pity the guy because he doesn't have any family support. If they were, they weren't there. They weren't there in the courtroom. And the protesters who are trying to support him or go against him, well, nobody showed up. Or a handful. That's about it. Not hundreds, not thousands. Count them on a hand. And that's it. I could say that I don't feel sorry for the guy. I mean, I do feel sorry for the guy. He's allowed his ego. He's allowed everything else to go ape. He thinks he's entitled, and he's being shown the door on this one, and he don't like that. But he also doesn't like people that much either. There's rumors about him being a germaphobe. As long as they're playing nice with his rules and by his rules only, maybe he'll deal with them and use them. But everybody else, forget it. So he's going to try using and milking everything he can to get his popularity, including negative attention. My mother was telling my brother and me about this one a long time ago. If you can't get any positive attention, you'll get negative attention. So we'll see what happens. One more thing. You just don't, as I said before, tick off judges, especially when you make fun of them a great deal. Or anybody else connected remotely to the judge or to the case. I can't tell you how many times Trump has violated the gag orders. And the thing is, why is he being allowed? Well, the thing is, being a previous president's one thing. Second thing, he's running for election. We've never had anything like this in our history that's coming down to who's going to be running or not. This is crazy. But what isn't in this century?